Governor Andrew Cuomo is now in town and conducting a press conference to update all Western New Yorkers
Storm
about the state of the
that
storm. Let's go to him.
Has begun and threatens to get worse. And that's why I'm joining my colleagues today here. Let me introduce the team who's in front of you. We're joined by our great Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. We have County Executive Mark Poloncarz, who you'll hear from in a moment. We have Mayor Byron Brown, who you'll hear from in a moment also. New York State DOT Commissioner, Department of Transportation Commissioner Paul Karras. We have Head of the State Emergency Management Michael Copey. We have New York State Parks Commissioner Ken Kuliside. We have the Public Service Commissioner Executive Deputy Tom Congdon. New York State Police Major Kennedy, Erie County Legislator Bruno, and Tim Myers. The snow is on its way, as anyone who has a window or looked outside knows. Preparation is everything in a situation like this, as we know, because we've been through it before. We issued a number of road bans yesterday that are still in effect. I-190, 290, 480, US 219 from Peters Road, New York 5, 179, 190, the Thruway from exit 46 to the Pennsylvania line. The Skyway we closed last night at 8 o'clock because of basically zero visibility from blowing snow. And today at noon, we will close I-81 from Canada to I-90. Western New York, we anticipate about 11 inches of snow on the ground now, total of about 24 inches. But there's a wide variance because these snow bands are very narrow. So Niagara, parts of Niagara, you can be looking at just 3 to 6 inches of snow. So there'll be a wide variance of the amount of snowfall. It's not just Western New York, it's all across upstate New York. I spoke to the mayor of Rochester, the mayor of Syracuse. You'll have in Syracuse about 6 inches of snow, Rochester about 8 inches of snow, but they're handling it. The good news in this situation is that downstate New York is not affected as much, New York City and Long Island. That gives us the ability to redeploy personnel and equipment from areas that are not affected downstate New York in this situation to help in upstate New York. Mayor Brown has asked for additional snow plows for the city of Buffalo. They are on their way. If the county needs additional equipment, we're now in the process of bringing equipment up from Long Island and from New York City. Complicating this situation is going to be what they call the polar vortex, which will be extremely cold weather. That is in and of itself dangerous and should not be taken lightly. It will also compound what the emergency management workers have to deal with. So snowfall is one thing. Snowfall and high winds and sub-zero temperatures is a more complicated situation. And that is what we are preparing for. The polar vortex will be statewide. We're anticipating sub-zero temperatures in upstate New York. Even downstate New York, we're looking at single-digit temperatures. So the cold is going to be all across the state. Put on top of that the wind chill, and again, this is not a situation to be trifled with. One of the things we're going to watch are the power outages. The high winds bring with them power outages. We know that. When you combine that with the sub-zero temperatures, you really have a dangerous situation. And we have the Deputy Commissioner of the Public Service Commission here today. The Public Service Commission, the PSC, regulates the utilities. The utilities have contractual obligations to be able to handle a storm. The PSC regulates them. They get paid for the job they do. The ratepayers across the state pay the utilities a very hefty sum. I want the utilities to hear me today. We expect a better level of service than we have been getting from the utility companies in terms of both communication of the problem and resolution of the problem. Communication is important. If we know there are people without power, that is an emergency and something that we can be helpful with. We have temporary generators, etc. We have the right equipment to send people to get someone out of a house that has no heat. But we have to know about it, and we have to know about it in a timely basis. In Western New York, we're dealing with National Grid and NYSEG. NYSEG especially has to do a better job than they've done in the past storms in terms of communicating the number of outages. They should be in the county emergency operations center. And when they know about an outage, we should know about an outage, so we can do what we can to help the people in the home. In terms of response, we expect the same responsiveness for the rural parts of Western New York as we get in the urban parts. And all too often, you've seen a delayed response in the rural areas. I understand they're harder to get to, but as the old expression is, their money is just as green as anyone else, and they're paying their bills, and they demand and they expect service, and we want to make sure they get it. So in this situation, I really do call on the utilities to do a better job than they have done in the past. But I'll end where I started. Everything is about preparation and being ready for the situation. If you start to get ready once the storm hits, it's too late. And that's why we go to great lengths to spend days in preparation for an event such as this one. And I want to thank the county executive and thank the mayor once again for their partnership. And I want to applaud the emergency workers and the responders who go out there, drive those plow trucks, are providing the emergency response. They are putting their lives in harm's way to help people. It is very tough duty, and we all owe them our cooperation. And the way we do that is when the storm is at a dangerous position, we need common sense and we need cooperation. And if you don't have to be on the roads, you should not be on the roads. Let the plows do their work. The state police are also going to be stepping up their enforcement on the tractor-trailer ban. That is serious. We have seen that when the tractor-trailer ban is put in place, we have fewer jackknife trailers. A jackknife trailer, one jackknife trailer can close an entire road and can take hours to clear by the time you get the equipment and the tow trucks, etc. The state police are going to be stepping up their compliance activities. We are not kidding about the tractor-trailer ban and the bus ban. The fines are steep, and you will be ticketed. And you'll be, I anecdotally believe that some tractor-trailer operators are not respecting the ban. They should know we're going to enforce that ban, and the state police will be out in full force. With that, I'll turn it over to Mark Polenkars. You'll then hear from Mayor Brown, and once again, I want to say I know Western New York knows about snow, and they can handle snow. But we're looking at something different here now. This isn't 7 feet of snow, but the frequency of these storms and the intensity of these storms are increasing. The combination of snow plus the sub-zero temperatures plus the wind, these are more complicated situations than we've dealt with in the past. And they really are something to be taken seriously by everyone. and not just by the government officials, but by the citizens who are there and local officials. Everyone has to do their part, and I'm sure they will.